Today, we focus on Nigeria's education sector, where the issue of fake certificates from Togo and Benin Republic has resurfaced, affecting thousands of Nigerian students who studied there. Now, the Nigerian Minister of Education declared some degrees invalid due to lack of accreditation a few weeks ago, but Togo and Benin Republic disputed this, publishing lists of accredited universities to the tune of 95. Now, the situation highlights the complexities of accreditation and recognition in higher education, leaving students and universities seeking a resolution. This is The Conversation. I'm Darshan Usman. Let's talk. As we have already stated, the Nigerian government recently claimed that only 5 universities in Benin Republic and 3 in Togo are accredited, causing concern that degrees from other universities in these countries might be invalid. Now, this has led to anxiety among Nigerian graduates as well. However, Benin's Ministry of Higher Education disputes this claim, listing 95 accredited institutions, including many that were incorrectly labeled as unaccredited. Now, this confusion has distressed both students, parents, and also universities, and the affected institutions are working to prove the accreditation and also to clarify the situation. This incident highlights the need for clear and accurate information to prevent such issues and also to protect students' degrees. Now, joining us on the conversation to discuss further on this is Adamade, Peter Adamade, President, West African University's Alumni in Abuja. And we also have Gabriel Kona, President, Nigerian Lecturers in Benin, and he'll be joining us from Lagos. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us at this time.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so Mr. Kona, if you can hear me, now, the Ministry of Higher Education in the Republic of Benin has officially published a list of 90 to 95 accredited institutions authorized to award degrees, even though the Nigerian government claims that only 5 universities in Benin are accredited. Now, what discrepancies have you identified between the government's claims and the accreditation status reported by the Beninese ministry?
I was saying that there are a lot of discrepancies in the report and in the submission of the Honorable Minister. The Ministry of Education in the Republic, they usually carry out accreditation exercise every year. And then, even this year, the list of universities were published, about 95 of them thereabout. And so for the minister to say that there are only 5 schools, that is not correct. The actual number is that we have about 8 public universities, 8, and then 95 or so private universities in the Benin Republic that are accredited by the government.
Okay. All right. Thank you for clarifying that for us. Now, let's move to you, Adamade. Now, tell us, as the president of West African University's Alumni, how has the recent announcement by the Nigerian government impacted the institutions in the highlighted countries? I'm talking about Togo and Benin.
Thank you so much for having me here. In responding to your question, the impact of this hasty pronouncement by the Ministry of Education through her Minister of Education can best be described as hasty. And not only hasty, it is mischievous, it is misleading, and traumatizing at that. Our undergraduates who are still in these various institutions of learning are traumatized. Their parents are traumatized. The reputation of our certificate is on a hanging pendulum. And if the Minister of Education, who was supposed to be a local parenting and superintending over the educational affair of this great nation, the most populous black nation on earth, can, because of maybe petty politics or lack of vivid understanding.
All right, Mr. Adamade, not to
is.
cut you short, before you go ahead, can you please, is it possible to remove your glasses? We're getting flashes from the light. Yes, thank you. Please go ahead.
All right. So the news was received with utmost shock by the graduates and also the undergraduates who are still in school. And we reacted to this news before now, interfacing with the Ministry of Education through the minister. We wrote as an organization to the Minister of State for Education and paid him a courtesy visit. He received us as a father and immediately referred us to the interministerial committee set up by the president through the ministry to investigate the certificate racketeering.
Oh, sorry, when was this, just to clarify, when was this visit? Was it after the report from the investigative journalist, or was it after the minister came out?
Okay.
Or was it after the minister?
Yes, after the release of the report from the investigative journalist, the committee was set up, and then we paid a courtesy visit and proceeded to meet with the committee set up.
Okay. So after everything, after the minister came out to, still tag 5 universities only as accredited, was your university affected?
Yes, my university was affected, and it will interest you to know that none of the private universities in those countries were mentioned in the aforementioned or listed university. All the universities mentioned so far are public, state, and federal universities. The question begging for answer here is, how many of these universities mentioned are attended by Nigerians? They were purely public institutions, and I attended a private university in Benin Republic.
Okay, so are you still a student? Because I'm told that you're still a student. I want to know if you are, so you can clarify, the current accreditation status of your own university.
I'm not still a student. I'm a graduate from Eastford Benin University. I graduated 2018, served 2018, 2019 with one of the federal university in Nigeria.
Okay.
And I have my NYSC discharge certificate duly issued to me by the Federal Republic of Nigeria through the NYSC as a scheme.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Adamade, for that. Now, let's come back to you, Mr. Kona. Now, you've heard what Mr. Adamade has said, and he talked about, visiting the minister himself. So has there been any communication between universities in Benin and Togo and also the Nigerian Ministry of Education to resolve this issue?
Well, I must say that, matters like this require diligence. It is expected that the Ministry of Education in Nigeria will have put a lot of factors in consideration before making the statement that was made, invalidating the certificates of those students. The Benin Republic government as well, I'm very certain from the pillars of coaching, they are also studying the information by the Nigerian Minister of Education. This is the reason. The government, our government, did not just invalidate Nigerian students who attended those schools. By extension, they have told the whole world that Benin universities, private universities in Benin, that their graduates are portraying fake certificates. However, Why we have Nigerian students in this Benin University private institution, we also have Beninese who attended their own private institutions. Some of them are abroad, some of them have done their masters. And with that statement alone, the world is watching, and it looks as if the Nigerian government is intruding into the sovereignty of the Republic. And that's why I said earlier on that the concerned country, I'm very certain they are studying the matter, and there are going to be resolutions, this time. But I am not aware, I am not staff of any of the ministry.
Okay.
And so, but I understand that as a matter of diplomacy, there will be need for interaction between the two governments. And adding to what I said earlier, the basis for invalidation, this is the question. The basis for invalidation by our own ministry in Nigeria is that it said those schools are not even recognized by their home countries.
Oh, okay, how does the process of accrediting universities in Benin and Togo differ from Nigeria's process?
Okay, globally, every country has different processes of accrediting their private universities. Of course, the public ones are established by act of bill in the Senate and all of that. And so, for the private, in Benin Republic, the accreditation process is on a yearly basis. Once the school is accredited to run those courses, we begin to do that every year to ensure that the school complies with extant laws. Whereas in Nigeria, we know that the NUC, of course, is saddled with that responsibility, and it is not necessarily every year. Then it can be, I can't say, but probably 3, 4, 5 years interval, they will visit the school to ensure that compliance with the existing policies. And so for Benin Republic and Togo, it is just a matter of the country policy that once the schools are created, they review it every year and publish the list every year.
Okay.
So the moment that means the school can actually use its accreditation for the next year if your name is not on the list. But so long you are there, it means you can run.
Okay. Now let's come back to you, Mr. Adamade. Parents have actually issued warnings to the federal government of Nigeria to stop playing politics with the future of Nigerian youths who are studying in neighboring countries. Now, how have students at your university or universities that you are aware of, been affected by the claims about unaccredited degrees? What are their experiences?
The experiences, because as a student, as a graduate of the alumni, I am at the central stage of the whole game. I receive calls, I receive text messages from students themselves, graduates, parents, lecturers, and stakeholders, asking what is actually the fate of this graduate. Like I said before, it is traumatic. It is very, very demoralizing. And the students are not finding it funny. And having been at the central stage of this whole thing, our recommendations to the committee was that this problem can only be solved going forward and not backward. We as graduates and students are all traumatized. Those of our mates or colleagues who are working are also traumatized. And we are receiving reports and complaints of threats from most organizations. And this has national security implications because we have our graduates spread across security agencies, Nigeria Army, Nigeria Immigration, the DSS, the NIA. You can name them for yourself. You can imagine that if this issue of fake certificate is not properly addressed, and these individuals who are of their useful age in Nigeria begin to lose their source of livelihood and then return back to the street, it's going to be a time bomb waiting for explosion. And I'm very sure the Federal Republic of Nigeria, through her governance system, will not want to rise another monster of insecurity.
We hope it doesn't get to that, and we hope that the federal government
we hope that
does something.
We hope too.
Yes.
But our university is duly accredited. The 2024-25 list as released.
Okay.
All our universities are there. Please let the Minister of Education tell us what.
All right. Now let's come back to you, Mr. Kona. Now, you heard what Adamade has said. He complained about the students, the trauma they're facing, the confusion, and also the fact that, they've been receiving threats. How are universities addressing concerns from these students and their families about the validity of their degrees, in light of, such conflicting information?
Well, as at today, I can't count the number of calls I've received, but what we can actually advise our parents, students that are involved, that are unfortunate. These unfortunate events are happening to is to remain law-abiding while we seek the attention of the Honorable Minister to address the issue. I believe the Minister, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, they appear and they listen to the cries of Nigeria. The reason why we elected them to office is not to cause pain to the teeming Nigerian needs. And so, I want to believe, and I'm very optimistic, that this matter will be looked into from both the Republic, because their government is also affected by the pronouncement. You see the intricacies in the whole issue. Their own students, in the international world, we see them as if the attendance schools are not accredited, and they are carrying fake certificates. And so I just want to believe that something positive will ensue very soon. I hope I got your question.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Now, let's come back to Adamade now. Adamade, you talked about threats, you talked about, confusion and trauma that students are facing. How are their institutions, what are they doing to reassure these students and the alumni about the validity of their degrees?
All right, we have been in conversation and in connect with the authority of our various universities, most especially my university. The registrar of the university is working in collaboration with other registrars of other universities to see that the accreditation level of our university is made public. Like I said before the interministerial committee, after their investigation and joining to Benin Republic back to Nigeria, they presented before us a booklet containing all the accredited universities from Benin Republic. And they went ahead to argue with us at the panel level or committee level. I personally was handed over a booklet, which I opened and pointed to number 62 in that booklet, in that brochure, showing the accreditation of my university, and other delegates present in that meeting identified also their universities and the level of accreditation. The big question, begging for question, therefore, is why hasn't the Minister of Education made public that particular document that was handed over to the committee set up by the Ministry of Education? This is a question begging for answer. So the university we attended are making frantic effort to see that the real version of the story as released by the Minister of Education is made public for public consumption and for interrogation by Nigerians and made of goodwill.
Okay, but how does this help, in mitigating the impact of, this situation on students' careers, future careers, or even, past students who are employed right now?
Yes, they're coming out to debunk the claim by the minister that only 5 universities in Benin Republic is approved and only 3 or 4 thereabout in Togo. By the runners of this university will go a long way to clear the airway. So if the silence of the runners of this university is not continuous, just like the registrar are taking steps to address this issue, it will go a long way in mitigating the situation. But questions should be asked and answer expected. That why are all the private universities excluded from the displayed list by the Minister of Education?
All right.
Our schools are duly accredited, and we have no doubt. We are so confident about that.
All right, so Mr. Kona, now pushbacks and also, ripple effects are expected, in such cases. Has the accreditation dispute led to any legal or even regulatory challenges for you, that's your university, or even any of the blacklisted universities? We want to know, and if so, what are they? What are those challenges?
For now, there hasn't been any official pushback that I'm aware of. But what I know is that discrimination, okay, and resentment in the public audience that these people are already experiencing is more than pushback. Incidentally, if we want to say categorically, I am not the product of the Republic, but at the same time, I have worked there, and I understand the education system. The thing is that if you look at some of these French colonized countries, Niger, Benin, Togo, Ivory Coast, they follow the same pattern of education, NMP. You know what we call licence, master's, doctorate. That's bachelor, master's and doctorate degree. And so the discrimination that these 2 countries is facing is a heavy pushback on that. But officially, I have not seen any organizations that are publicly denied them. But I tell you that from the moment of that pronouncement, apparently somebody went for a job interview. Apparently somebody was, applying for a job just for, recruitment. Apparently somebody wants to do industrial attachment. All these students who return home to, So I can tell you, even without being saying that they might have faced rejection. This is really, really disheartening. And it has to be on the record that these schools that we are discriminating about, they have graduates that have, with great exploits. I can mention those ones that I even know, that have developed in their own field. technocrats in their own, in their own. So it's really, really unfortunate to say that they are candidates. And what is that the committee or the minister now, so to say, said that this is based on the finding of one investigative reporter. So the minister, I will not say that because the student got a certificate, the entire, through the back door, the entire university. Now let me tell you, Usman, you see, that particular school where that student got that report from,
Okay.
that certificate from,
Yeah.
go and check in 2024-2025 accredited university in the Republic. You will not see the school there. That is disciplinary act. I told you earlier that when a school does not comply with extant rule in the Republic, you will not see your name in the following year. But Nigeria came and said all the universities are now participating certificate. And what is that? He went back in retrospect. Where does pronouncement or laws or policy begin to run from arrears? We have the case of University of Calabar, we have LASU, we have the Unijos, we have, you are in the media, you can think out all these stories. The governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, cried out that the state university is becoming a citadel of fraud, certificate accreditation. We didn't close down the school. Let us be human. That is what we are even saying. Let us be objective. These students went to school. You couldn't say because one person didn't cross the border and then every other person. Okay, people like me that are teachers, what do we think? We think benefits? Of course not.
All right.
So these are the questions.
Yeah. All right. Now, Mr. Adamade, now you have actually said it is imperative, that the Nigerian government revises its stance on this matter. And that's taking into consideration the accurate information provided by the Beninese and also the Togolese authorities. Now, how soon do you hope to receive an official response from the Nigerian Ministry of Education regarding this?
Thank you very much. As soon as possible, as quickly at the speed of light, we expected that the federal government respond and make a reversal pronouncement as quickly as possible. This is what you should know. You don't just barge into any of the aforementioned university for admission. We made our findings from the Ministry of Education. The Ministry of Education went through the UNESCO's book that contains all the list of accredited universities. It is deposited at the Ministry of Education, and this document is accessible by the media and every spirited Nigerian. Upon graduation, you return back to Nigeria, back to the Ministry of Education. Graduation. Money.
Okay, we seem to be having connection issues with Adamade. So we'll take a quick break now, and when we come back, the conversation continues. Stay with us. Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us on the conversation. If you're just joining us, we are talking about, we revisited, we're talking about Nigeria's education sector, and also revisited the topic of fake certificates from Benin Republic and Togo, as brought up by the Ministry of Education in Nigeria. And we also did tell you that the Togo and Benin Republic Ministry have also said that they do not agree with the list of approved universities and that more universities are accredited in these countries. And we've been speaking to two guests. We've been speaking to Adamade, Peter Adamade, President, West African Universities Alumni, and also Gabriel Kona, lecturer and President, Nigerian Lecturers in Benin Republic. Thank you for staying with us, gentlemen. So now to you, Mr. Kona. Now, some have actually blamed envy on the part of Nigerian private university owners. You know, that this is what has actually led to the confusion here. Private universities in Nigeria who are envious of private universities or even the universities in Togo and Benin Republic. So how do you perceive the role of competition between private universities in Nigeria and institutions in neighboring countries in this matter?
Well, I have to say this because you asked this question. I don't want to believe that there exists any form of entry between the universities, the private universities in Nigeria, and those in Togo and Benin Republic. Why do I say so? Every year, we have up to 2 million candidates that seek for UNE exam. And I can tell you that the entire capacity for admission for the entire university in Nigeria, there should be around 600,000. You can affect me. I don't think it will be more than 600,000. And so if 2 million candidates seek exam, we have approximately 800,000 to 1 million seats in the exam. And then the very good number of students, close to 300,000 plus, where do you think they seek for the admission? Some will go to polytechnic, some will go for institute, some will go for institute here and there. But remember, Benin Republic graduated and Togo together approximately 22,000 students in 7 years. From 2017 to 2024 is 7 years. Please, what is the average per year? It tells you that the admission in these countries, they also visit these countries, they are less than 3,000 or 4,000 every year. So please tell me, what is the competition between Nigerian universities, private universities, and that of Benin? If anybody is envious, well, that is left for them to think about. But I feel that the population that needs tertiary education, we have not been able to provide enough institutions to accommodate them. Even with Nigeria, Benin, Togo, Nigeria, Ghana combined together, I can tell you that. Meanwhile, in Africa, we have the least literacy rate. And we are trying to, meet up with UNESCO standard that we need to raise the level of our literacy among youths. And so I don't believe that. I just want to be very sincere.
Okay. All right. Adamade, what role do you believe misinformation or lack of clarity in this case actually played in this whole confusion?
Is a mindset of the people, and most especially those in authority or who are given responsibility, that when I am not affected personally, anybody can go to hell. Let me clarify some issue here, that after graduation, there is what we call evaluation. Evaluation is given by the Ministry of Education to ascertain the fact that the school you attended is accredited and recognized. And this you do by uploading your degree certificate, your transcript, and your O-level certificate, be it WAEC, NECO, or NAPTEP. You upload into the official site of the Accreditation and Evaluation Department of the Ministry of Education. And monies are paid into government cover through the remitter. I want to ask this question here and sit back and listen for an answer. Schools that are fake are accepted for evaluation and money collected from these fake graduates. Money is received from fake university graduates and evaluation issued. As I speak with you, I have my NYSC discharge, I have my evaluation, which before the policies changed, we used to have what is called individual evaluation. You approach the Ministry of Education demanding that your certificate be evaluated. But today we have the collective evaluation where individual university present her list of Senate lists for evaluation. So the government needs to provide answer to questions such as this. At what point were this certificate legalized for evaluation? And at what point do this legality or the legitimacy of this school lose its legitimacy that they can no longer be accepted? These are questions that are begging for answer. And why is the same system of ECTS practiced by Togo, Benin Republic, Niger Republic? The Niger
okay, so can you clarify on what ECTS is? Is it
yes,
is it like the IELTS?
It's talking about, yes, is the acronym for the European. It is an acronym for European Credit Accumulated Transfer System of 180 credit load units courses that span through 6 semesters of 3 years. So it's a different system from Nigeria university education. And we are all aware of this as run by the sovereign nation. Niger Republic was mentioned in this suspension and suddenly got exempted from this suspension. Niger Republic is allowed to run law, degree, medical and paramedical courses in the same system that is not allowed in Benin Republic and Togo. And this minister need to clarify Nigerians why it is so.
Okay,
our school is
okay,
accredited evaluation, and our evaluation speak to this fact that we are duly recognized and accredited.
All right, so aside, speaking and, taking back what they said about the accreditation of some of these universities, is it possible for Benin and Togo and also Nigeria to work together to be able to resolve this dispute and also, most importantly, to protect the interests of the students?
It is very, very possible. It is very, very possible. Appearing 4 consecutive times before the Interministerial Committee, we presented our recommendations that are meant to be systemic, that even with the absence of the Ministry of Education, Foreign Affairs, through the immigration services of Nigeria and Benin Republic, we also make propositions and proposals that a special task force that will constitute the graduate from Benin Republic, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Youth, who are going to serve as a police, because we understand the terrain. We understand the workings of the system. So if we are integrated into this system to come up with a smooth working understanding between the 2 countries, respecting the ECOWAS treaties and multilateral relationship, this certificate record trading, buying and selling, if they exist, which we know is not exclusive reserve of Benin Republic and Togo, it also happens here in Nigeria, but we are not holding brief for anybody. If the Nigeria Ministry of Education is sincere and want to integrate the alumni, the graduate from this enclave, this problem can be solved and a lasting solution can be profiled. It is not a rocket science. Of course, some of us are scientists and engineers.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Kona, what feedback or support has your institution or other institutions who have been affected received from the Beninese Ministry of Education, that's Ministry of Higher Education, regarding the situation?
Okay, let me say that this issue concerns the universities, like we have said. These institutions, they have founders, they have presidents, they have governing councils, okay? And they are aware of what is going on. And like I said earlier, what we need to talk about is to facilitate diplomatic approach, a different one that could, bring Benin Republic and the Nigeria and Togo to a common ground. You see, I don't want to assume what they are doing because I am not a fan, I told you. But I'm very much aware that these private school owners that have worked hard to get their school license will not also hold their hands to see information about the application taken to the public in error. And so I want to believe that they are working, as far as I know, to ensure that there is talk between the countries and people. And by the way, you look at Togo, you will see that there are just how many institutions now? Sorry, how many countries? About 1,005 or so that graduated from that country between 2017 and 2024. That tells you that we don't even have much Nigerians. Apparently, these are Nigerians are born in Togo, whose parents are Togolese, and probably have Togo passports, but they still maintain their Nigerian identity. Okay, so they want to identify with their home country. And these innocent people are thrown into too much. And so I want to believe, and by extension, this is also a call for us to be sensitive to the plight of Nigerians. This is a moment where Nigeria has been going through economic hardship and so many forms of crimes, insecurity here and there. And then we cannot, at this moment, add such to their injuries. So I am of the opinion that we should, the media, the lawmakers, whoever that are concerned, should facilitate at their own disposal diplomatic, missions between the countries that are affected. Because I don't want a situation where the country will have experience like Adamade was saying from his end that some people are actually working in the forces, some are working there. Of course, when you lay them off, they will return to crime. So please, this is a call also to the minister to be sensitive in such matter, and he has to revisit it. Lastly, please, just before we cut me, we recall earlier this year, during the DAM UTM exercise, when the minister, came up and said that subsequently we will not allow children that are not 18 years to write
that too.
UTM. That policy was revisited because there were concerns, and concerned body they came up and said, Minister, please, this is what we should do. Let us be sensitive, and we looked into it. I believe that the policy will start from next year. As we speak, there is one in the media which is saying that when you are not 18, you can also write why. It's going through a lot of detail in the media if you are following. And of course, people will raise concern when a child finishes from a secondary school at 16, what should he do? For the space of 3 years. So these are what we are saying that the minister should, as a father, as a professor, look into the issue and revisit it speedily, so that we don't have to help our fragile economy to become.
Okay. All right. Now, let's, Mr. Adamade, just before we wrap up, would like for you to give an advice to the students who are watching, who are worried about the recognition of their degrees in light of the recent claims.
I will call on all the students who are still in school, on campuses, and also call on the graduates who are also carrying this certificate that they should not be wary, they shouldn't give up, that these are misinformation in the public domain. And already having a media presence such as this, I understand very well that the Central News, as a renewed outfit in Nigeria, is going to do her due diligence in putting the right information out there. A certificate from this university are legit, they are not fake, they are as potent as any other degree certificate around the world. And we are proving ourselves globally. They shouldn't be wary, they should stand to their feet. Nobody is more Nigerian than another Nigerian. We have the equal right to afford and acquire education from anywhere in the world, most especially if they are tilted towards problem solving and national development. They shouldn't give up, but the federal government of Nigeria and the Ministry of Education must realize the security implication of the hasty fallacy of generalization that the university are not accredited and therefore the certificate are fake. Those misleading information should be debunked, and the students and the graduates should be vehement in their stand and do the needful within the ambits of the law.
Okay, now let's hear from Mr. Kona, your final thoughts and any advice for the students who are still in doubt.
Okay, for the graduates who are affected, all of my studies, I want to assure them that the issue at hand will be resolved amicably. Because the minister himself, we have humans, and no one is immune to error. And we make some certain pronouncements, we can revisit it. And that's what we are hoping certainly that will be done. For those who are in school, 100, 200, 300 level, the minister did not say that you cannot go to your schools. Okay? The only question that is in doubt for clarification is whether those certificates will be accepted or not when you graduate. But as I was saying, to be candid, we have to apply diplomacy in order to make all these facts known to the minister. And like I said, it's human. We are optimistic that we will listen and that the confidence of Nigerians will be regained. And so, for parents too, I watched a clip yesterday. Some parents gathered somewhere in Port Harcourt, and they were willing, some advised to commit suicide because of the amount of money they spend. Some pepper sellers. I want to encourage every parent out there that your effort in children will not be in vain. God, who and the Almighty Allah, pray that it will help you to understand that this matter is going to have its solution. And so be calm and be loyal by this.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, gentlemen, for your thoughts and also your time on the conversation today. Adamade Peter Adamade, President, West African University's Alumni, and also Gabriel Kona, President, Nigerian lecturers in Benin. Thank you so much for speaking to us this evening.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for watching today's episode of The Conversation. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at News Central TV. I'm Darshan Usman. Bye for now.